So, short video today. I hate this game. Alright, so we'll make an actual video. Today I'm talking about Nexus, which is a game that was recommended by the same person who last recommended me that Portal game, Tunneler. Now, unfortunately, unlike Tunneler, this game sucks ass. Now, in fairness, the reason that this game sucks ass actually makes perfect sense. But I can't get over, and I'm continually upset with the fact that this incredibly cool concept and what I thought I was getting myself into was not at all what I was getting myself into, and that in of itself is kind of my fault, but it still pisses me off. Anyways, what is Nexus before we start talking about some other stuff? Basically, Nexus is a puzzle game that works off of alternate dimensions. At any point while you're playing the game, you can click Q in order to swap between dimensions. There are up to 3 at any given time, and in each dimension there will be different hazards and whatnot going on. So in one dimension, a door may be opened, and in the other it's closed. And so in order to get to the door, you need to go in the other dimension. But if you're trying to get to the door, there might be a hazard like a turret in the way, and so you need to get rid of that first, and if there are multiple turrets, well yeah, that's a problem. And so that then begs the question, how do you get past the different hazards in order to get to the next area? And that's where your gun comes in. This thing is pretty handy. It's a revolver that can fire shots that can bounce off of walls, and if a shot bounces off a wall, it can hit things that are in other dimensions. That's to say that this is effectively a puzzle game, but not a very good one. Basically, the way the gun works is that you can left-click a single time and it'll shoot out a marker telling you where your shot's gonna go in the calculated trajectory, and then if you hold the gun down, it fires a fully charged shot that can actually hit things. The problem is that this game gives you one bullet, and then if you don't succeed on your one bullet, then you have to completely restart. Wow. Just wow. So what I initially thought I was getting into was a cool first-person shooter with dimension-hopping mechanics akin to that one mission from Titanfall 2. And considering that I thought that was really cool, I thought to myself, well, an entire game based on that, right off the bat, we're off to a fantastic start. And then I actually played the game, and it's a trial and error puzzle game where you fire one shot at a time and then reset and get frustrated and then spam a bunch of markers all over the place because the markers that you are shooting aren't actually accurate because the screen shakes before you fire, and because the screen shakes, it doesn't actually go 1-to-1 where your goddamn marker is. Oh, God. I'm sorry. I just finished playing the game. I'm not thrilled. Seriously though, the end-all be-all is that there's basically one solution. I'm 99% sure there's one solution to every single problem in the entire game. Finding that solution isn't necessarily hard because if you die, I think, maybe a few times, don't know how many, it'll show a little pink paint splatter on the floor, and that shows you where you're supposed to stand in order to hit the shot. This is helpful, but it's not a catch-all, because sometimes, even with the pink paint, it's incredibly difficult to tell where your shot's actually supposed to land. Never mind the fact that they didn't give any sort of clear markers button, which feels like it should have been a no-brainer, so if you want to have markers disappear, you have to wait for far too long in order to get the markers to disappear. And a lot of the time, because of the angles that you're at, it's incredibly difficult to see exactly where your shot's gonna land anyway, because you might have the marker showing the path of the bullet, but it doesn't really matter that you can see the path of the bullet because, number one, if you transcend dimensions in order to see where the other enemies are and if they're gonna get hit by it, it deletes the marker, because each marker is specific to each dimension. And number two, like I said, because there's shit that's blocking the way in certain other dimensions, even if you know where you're supposed to stand, know where you're supposed to shoot, and take the shot, it borderline comes down to RNG. This shit sucks. I hated it. Do not touch Nexus with a 25-foot pole. It's not worth it. It's terrible. Don't play it. Now, why is it terrible? Because we know why it's terrible. You might think from the title that because this is a Connect 2023 winner that the game would be good. But the reason that it's not good, despite being a Connect 2023 winner, is because Connect 2023 was a game jam. For those who don't know what a game jam is, it's basically where a bunch of game developers get together and for a very reduced period of time throw together a game and then compete to see who made the best game in a short amount of time. In this case, Connect 2023 2023 took place over 10 days, which means that this game, which is technically very well made aside from some bugs because of course there are, it was made in 10 days, is really impressive. And I can 100% see why somebody putting this together in 10 days is incredible. The dimension hopping mechanic is super neat. The fact that the voice acting, albeit glitchy, is pretty good. The environments are all impressive, and the animations are top notch. The only problem is that the actual game is awful. So I do kind of wonder how they were choosing to rate these, and if there were any other games in the Game Jam that had a better game itself, but weren't as technically impressive. I'm not entirely sure. Either way, like I said, for a game made in 10 days, very technically impressive. Would you ever want to touch this today? Not a shot in hell. And it's kind of a shame because, like I said, the concept here is phenomenal. The idea of playing a first-person shooter where at any point you can jump into a different dimension that has different hazards is really cool, but it's also quite the undertaking considering that you need to make effectively 2 environments for every single level, so it's not hugely surprising that there isn't a huge genre for this. Anyways, the game is really, really short, but like I said, even with it being short, and even with it being technically impressive, don't play this. I said it would be a short video, and I didn't lie, because this is definitely gonna fall under 8 minutes. Oh no, my ad revenue. But I don't care. I got nothing else to say here. We're done, so if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe. If you didn't, don't. And with all that being said, have a wonderful day, Net Reviewer, and I'll see you guys next time.